Good Thursday morning, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is February 16th, 2023, 7:04 a.m. And we are in the NFL offseason. Super Bowl played this past Sunday. Of course, just a quick recap. Everybody who is watching football or subscribing to this video, and I ask you to subscribe and tweet to your friends and like this video and get us more watchers. Knows Kansas City Chiefs, once again, NFL's world champions, 38-35 with a field goal with about 4 seconds left in the game. I called it from the beginning. I said the over was 50. I knew it would be over 50. You look at it, it was over 70. I was thinking like 62, 63, but it went over 70. Both quarterbacks played very well. This is probably one of the times where you can give the MVP to a player on the losing team. Jalen Hurts threw for over 300 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, came up short. One of his downfalls was a fumble that was scooped up by the Kansas City defense and ran it for a touchdown, which kind of put Kansas City momentum back. It would have been probably 17-7 or 21-7, and it turned into 14-14. Game went back and forth. Listen, there was a lot of talk from the fourth quarter situation, third quarter situation, penalties called late in the game, the turf and whatnot. I want to address everything quickly. We're going to go to the turf first. Turf was terrible. From what I understand, it was a new turf that they put in. It was some sort of synthetic grass. The stadium out in Arizona actually has it. The field is on almost like a tremendous flatbed truck, where the field could be rolled out of one of the end zones into a parking area, or a lot behind the stadium, get the sun rays from Arizona, and then rolled back into the closed stadium. They did this for the Super Bowl. They have been doing this, I think, for the Cardinals as well. Turf was terrible. Turf, people slipping, so bad that it was actually brought up during the game how both teams, actually, most of it was the Eagles changing their cleats. There's a conspiracy theory that the Chiefs knew about the turf and how it was going to be, and they were prepared already. I don't see that. I don't see that the Chiefs were tipped off about it. Both teams had to play on this turf. Yes. Was it something I wouldn't have thought of for the Super Bowl, the field being that bad? Yes. I thought it would have been a better prepared, better maintained turf. But both teams had to play on it. The second thing is you have the halftime performance where they bring out a stage and they have people running across. The Super Bowl has become a production as well as more of a game, and I get it, but the integrity of the field and of the game needed to be withheld and upheld, I should say. But both teams had to play on it. I don't think that the Chiefs knew one way or the other more than the Eagles did. You come prepared. Your trainer and training staff and equipment staff come prepared. The penalties. One of the things I looked at was, would I want to lose like that, have a call like that against me in the biggest game? You can have a call against your team in week 2, and it can affect the rest of your season. You can have a call against your team, and it affects the way you played the game, and you lose the game. And that game, maybe you don't make a playoff position. Maybe that game you lost doesn't give you a higher seed. Maybe that game you lost doesn't give you, the division. Doesn't matter what game it is. Doesn't matter what week it is. You got to be consistent with the calls. So the calls that I'm talking about, number one, are a holding call. It was 3rd and 4, I believe. Third quarter, late in the third quarter. And Juju Smith-Schuster got held running his route. Mahomes overthrew him, and they called the penalty. Now, 2 things. First thing is, does Mahomes throw that ball because he sees the hold and he wants to flag? If he did, that is a tremendous play, smart play by the quarterback. Um, Second thing is, and the DB who got the hold said, "I held him." Now, you want to say put the whistle away at this point, but it was an apparent hold. It was an apparent tug on the jersey. You could see the jersey tugged. Was the ball catchable? Was it not ball? Was the ball not catchable? Was Juju embellishing? I don't know, but he got the flag. So if my team is ever in this game and that happens, or in any game, I'm going to be annoyed. I'm going to be pissed off. Again, um, you have to be consistent with your calls. For the most part, I thought that the referees were consistent. You know, Philadelphia um, sportscast and reporters do not want to hear it. The DB, the name doesn't come to me, actually said, yes, I did hold him. Um, and that was a big turning point in the game. But there was also, I believe, one or two fourth downs where the Chiefs lined up in the neutral zone. Okay, or third downs where the Chiefs lined up in the neutral zone, off sides, and the Eagles got automatic first downs. So I'm reading on Twitter, and somebody said, well, it was blatant. Well, you know what? The hold was blatant. Okay? At that point of the game, the DB cannot hold. Whether it's a bad time to call the penalty or not a good time to call the penalty, if you're on the Chiefs, if you're on the offense, no, it's a great time to call the penalty. It's a penalty against me. You know, it is what it is. I will use the example of the Jets versus the Patriots. So the Jets had to come up at the end of the season with one win out of the last, I don't want to say 5 or 6 games, and a Patriot loss. Okay? They were swept by the Patriots. I won't go into the punt return over in New England, but I'm going to go back to week 6 or whatever it was, week 5, MetLife Stadium. Patriots, Mac Jones is picked off. Jets are running down the sideline, score, touchdown. They're up. It would have been, I think, 17-3 or whatever it is. They're up by 2 or 3 scores. Defense is dominating. Roughing the passer. It wasn't late hit. It wasn't hit to the helmet. It was he landed on him too hard. That was the reasoning behind the call. Jets wound up losing that game. You fast forward 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks, and the Jets come up about a game short of the playoffs. Now, do they deserve to be in the playoffs? No. They lost the last 6 games or the last 5 games of the season. They didn't score a touchdown in 12 quarters or whatever, whatever it is. But that play would have had and did have major implications on their playoff chances. Because if they win that game, then all they have to do is win a game towards the end of the season. Maybe they don't even have to win that game towards the end of the season. Okay? So you could say, oh, the Super Bowl, you got to put the whistle away. No, if you're consistent calling that call all year long, you call it all year long, you call it in the big game. There's no reason why the offense should have been penalized because it was late in the game if it was a hold against them. Think about it if you're the Chiefs. Think about it if it was a reversed and the Chiefs did it to the Eagles. So then there's a whole thing in the script that the NFL wants the Chiefs to win. If you're watching these games and you are a fan of the league, if you're a fan of a team, if you're a fan of the sport, and you think they're fixed, you think it's scripted, stop watching them. Okay? Go watch wrestling. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, I would be majorly pissed off if my team lost the way they did, but let's not forget the Eagles gave up a 10-point lead at one point. But both teams went back-to-back, head-to-head, and they played very well with each other and against each other. The Chiefs came out on top. They made that last play, that last drive, and they kicked the field goal. Let's not forget that kicker missed the field goal in the first quarter, I believe, off the left upright. So make of it what you will. Anybody who had the box 8-5 for the final, good for you. But now we are in the offseason. Pat Mahomes was named MVP. Like I said, it could have went to Jalen Hurts. I think if Hurts doesn't, two things. I think if Hurts does not have that fumble that's brought back for a touchdown, and I'm watching it now on NFL Network, and I think if Mahomes is not hobbled in the game, and I'm watching that too, and he comes out after halftime and plays lights out, then Hurts has it. You know, um, but the season has come to an end. Last football game until August 3rd. August 3rd is the Hall of Fame game, and I am hoping that they announce the Jets will be playing that Hall of Fame game. Obviously, we went over this last week. Joe Klecko, after many, many years, finally elected in. Darrell Revis, first ballot Hall of Famer. Um, and I'm hoping because it's two Jets, they will have the Hall of Fame game. But before we get to, and it's funny, I looked at a calendar. I think it's 2 weeks until the combine in Indianapolis. Then I think it's like 30 days until the off season free agency period starts. Then it's 75 days to the draft. 75 days. I mean, you're talking less than 3 months. You're talking a little bit over 2 months, 2.5 months to the draft. Um, so a lot's going to be going on. This may be slow um, football for some of the teams, even the Giants. It's a little bit slow now. They're retaining all their coaches. None of them were hired to go someplace else, so good for the Giants. Um, but for the Jets right now, you're looking at who is our next quarterback. It is never easy. It is never easy. You know, Last month, while the whole collapse of the season for the Jets was coming about, and like I said, 12 quarters without scoring a touchdown, 4-game losing streak, whatever it is, when they need to win one, it really came down to quarterback play. Injured Mike White was never the same. Zach Wilson just, I don't know if it was his confidence. And then you had Joe Flacco, who would rather have been home cutting his grass with scissors than being on the field. Um, so you need a quarterback to come in. Now, from what the team is saying, they are behind Zach Wilson. They want to develop him into the quarterback that they think he can believe, that they believe he can be. I don't know if he could ever be that quarterback. I am not a college football watching fan. I really am not. But from what I'm told from my cousins that are part of our group, our chat, my cousin Mikey said that Zach Wilson played less than one full season, or maybe one full season, and was not that good in that season in an empty stadium. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll ever develop into a quarterback, and I'm not going to say he's going to be Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes or, you know, even Daniel Jones at one point. Daniel Jones would have been an upgrade to this Jets team. So they're going to probably leave Zach Wilson on the bench and bring in, as they said, a veteran quarterback. They have brought in Nathaniel Hackett. Nathaniel Hackett has a lot of ties to Aaron Rodgers. The rumor is the two top prospects for the Jets are Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr. Derek Carr right now has been released by the Raiders. That was a divorce that was just weeks happening. Patrick Mahomes, sorry, Derek Carr. So it was released yesterday. He is a free agent. Um, Aaron Rodgers went into a 4-day darkness period. I don't know what that is, and I'm going to address that in a second. And then the lower tier quarterbacks, somebody said Ryan Tannehill, somebody said Baker Mayfield, um, and Joe Garoppolo, right? Joe Garoppolo. Um, I have said, and I've said this, and you can go back to my videos from the past month. To me, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a fit here in New York. Uh, I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan because of his personal things. I'm not going to say his personal beliefs, but the way he uses his personal beliefs into the game. Um, his whole "I'm not. Are you vaccinated? I'm inoculated." Uh, his lying about certain things, his conspiracy theories about 9/11. Um, fine. Then you have him in Green Bay. And yes, I've said this. Green Bay is title town USA for the NFL. They are the roots of the NFL. The Lombardi Trophy is named after the head coach of the Green Bay Packers that won the first two Super Bowls. And he still gives attitude and throws shade towards the reporters. Could you imagine him sitting in Florham Park or standing in Florham Park answering questions on a game that they lost? Or that they saw him hanging out in some two-bit flea bag bar in Midtown or in North Jersey? It's not going to be a good marriage. Okay. Secondly, I think his body is a lot more beat up than they're preluding to or alluding to. I think he is tired. I think he wants to be on a team that is set to go one more time. I don't think the Jets are him away, a player away, quarterback away from being that team. Yes, they're a quarterback away from getting into the playoffs, I believe. But looking at the Eagles and looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, the Jets are not on that level. They're not. And seeing how they lost games last year, they are far from that level. Unless you get your running back Hall back and you get AVT back. And, you know, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a good fit here. And I was accepting it. And then people say, "Oh, you're accepting Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback." Oh, look at you. Look, I'm saying I don't really like him on the team. But if he can help, I'm going to root for him. When he gets on that team and he's whatever number he's wearing, 12, if he takes the 12, which I don't think he should, or whatever number he wears, I'll root for his number. I'll root for him. I'll root for the name on the helmet. I'll root for the success of the team. But I don't think he's the player we need. And this past week, just listening to the way he interacted with reporters again. So, darkness period. Supposedly, well, not supposedly, Aaron Rodgers said something like he's going into a darkness period where he's in darkness for 4 days. He's away from the outside world. He's going to re-energize, think about his life, think about the thoughts of where he wants to be, what he wants to do, and move forward from there. Make his decision not only for life, but his career. So everybody's thinking, okay, day after the Super Bowl, he's out. Well, no, he started the day after the Super Bowl, or he started Tuesday. But he then comes out and he's saying that there's a narrative that the reporters are writing and they don't understand what he's saying, and he's cursing, and he's talking about Ian Rappaport. And I'm just thinking, could you imagine him coming off a post game into a press conference in a game that they lost, in a game that maybe he was sacked 3 times, the offensive line had him get hit 100 times, and he has to deal with that, yelling at his young receivers? I mean, you say what you want. This year was a little reverse. The receivers were frustrated with the quarterback, and they made plays. You got to remember, Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie Player of the Year. You know, they're going to have Aaron Rodgers yelling at him. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a good fit. But if he comes here, I will root for him to lead my team. That's just my 2 cents. So we'll know better by the weekend or whatever when he comes out, if he makes a remark or any indication. I don't think we're going to know anything until closer to March. We're on February 16th. So you're talking another 2 weeks or so from now, maybe. Now, it would be jet-like for them to wait for Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr get snatched up by the Dolphins, possibly the Patriots, and he plays them twice a year in the AFC East, and we have to deal with him for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Also, in comparison to Aaron Rodgers, who may be a 1 to 2 year and done deal. And if it's Aaron Rodgers and you don't win the Super Bowl in 2 years, it's a failure. And somebody said, "Oh, Brett Favre come to the Jets wasn't a failure." Yes, it was. Brett Favre was here for one reason and one reason only: to get them past the Patriots into the playoffs and shoot out whoever they played. And at 7-3, and you knock off a 10-0 or 11-0 Tennessee Titans team in Tennessee, and you end up 7-9 or whatever it was, or 9-7 or whatever it was, and miss the playoffs because you have an injury and you don't disclose it to the team, it's a failure. Yes, he went to Minnesota the following year, went to the NFC Championship game. You know, so did the Jets. That's what the NFC Championship game the following year. So yes, Brett Favre made it exciting. Brett Favre also made you want to pull your hair out. You know, so if Aaron Rodgers comes here, you're looking at a 2-year window, and if you don't make it all, and you don't have a quarterback that's being nurtured and developed behind him, it is a failure. Derek Carr may not be the guy, but if you're going to put a veteran in there and he's going to be here 4 or 5 years, he could be the guy. He may take this team to the next level. Yes, there are differences in Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers, without a doubt. But Aaron Rodgers may not be the fit the Jets need. Now, reading from all these NFL experts, everybody's, most of the people are saying Aaron Rodgers is coming here. There was a report in the New York Post yesterday that the Jets reached out to the Packers and asking what kind of compensation they want for Aaron Rodgers in a trade. We'll see. I'm not really a fan of Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill, success is when he had Derrick Henry as his running back those years and he went to the playoffs. Baker Mayfield, maybe, but this be Baker Mayfield's 4th team in 2 years. Is he out to prove something, or is he out just to make a paycheck, to collect a paycheck before he goes into his 5th team or 6th team and possibly retires very soon? I don't know. But the Jets offseason, there is no time off. They are working diligently to see who they're bringing in. I really believe that. And I want to also follow up with this. Everybody's talking about Woody Johnson being a terrible owner. Woody Johnson being a terrible owner. Woody Johnson being a terrible owner. You don't like MetLife Stadium because we share it. We've been sharing the stadium since 1984. Okay, since '84, we've been to 3 AFC Championship games. Okay. The Detroit Lions have had their own stadium, the Pontiac Silverdome, and now I think it's Ford Field. Never been to an NFC Championship game. Okay. So, Houston Texans have their own stadium. I've never been to an AFC Championship game. So this thing about having your own stadium, I get it. You don't want to share with the Giants, but you know what? We do. You don't like the design of the building? I don't like it either. First of all, Giant Stadium, and it was Giant Stadium, and yes, they wouldn't take the name down when the Jets played. They wouldn't cover it because that is the name of the stadium. Had better sight lines. You were closer. Easier in, easier out. I do not understand the design of this. Maybe it was a marketing ploy because if you've ever been in Giant Stadium, whatever level you were on, there was one escalator that took you up there. There was an escalator that went up to the first level, escalator went up to the mezzanine level, escalator went up to the upper level. This now, because first of all the stadium is so much higher, because I read somewhere or I heard somewhere that the first row of the upper deck of the new stadium is equivalent to the last row of Giant Stadium. Yes, because you have the first level, then you have a set of suites, then you have your on the 50, then you have your mezzanine level, and the mezzanine level is split for two sections where they're covered and uncovered. Then you have another section of suites. Then you have the start of your upper level, your upper deck. So to get in and get out, to get to the first level, you're taking a big escalator up one level. That escalator was probably the same height as the escalator to bring you into the second level of Giant Stadium. Then once you get to the first level, you're cattle walking around something to get to another um, escalator up to the second level. And then from the second level, we take it up to the third level. So getting in and getting out of the stadium is not easy. Giant Stadium was circular, you went completely around. This, when you get to the 50s, you cannot stay on the same level. You have to go down the stairs, one level, when you're on the first level, and you have to make your way around. Was this done so you're passing all the shops? Was this done because you're passing the concessions? I don't know. I don't know why. The the outside area where they have all the entertainment and all that, whatever. They could have did that anywhere. But you got to remember, Woody Johnson did not design the stadium. Him and the owners of the Giants sat down and approved this. You can believe what you want. You can say, no, they didn't. They are 50-50 partners. Yes, the Giants have their facility that they train on the property. They've always had it on the property. They moved it out a little further. The Jets are in Florham Park. Um, it is what it is. I don't know why people are hung up on it because you can't tell me that Zach Wilson would have played better if we were in a stadium that we owned in another part of Jersey or in another part of New York or whatever. Okay, this whole thing, I want to feel like I'm at home. So you lost and you feel like you're at home. Who cares? If you win, you will feel that place be like home. Ask anybody that was there in 2010. Anybody that was there in 2015 when they were making a run as well. Okay? So this thing that Woody Johnson doesn't want to spend, he wants to spend. The thing where, if we don't get Aaron Rodgers, no, it's not. This is all on Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. Okay? Woody Johnson should have nothing to do with it except I will sign the check. Okay? And if you believe anything differently, then you just hate Woody Johnson. And listen, I'm not saying that Woody Johnson is George Steinbrenner. And for Yankee fans, we adored George Steinbrenner for many years. We also, at one point, thought George was killing the team. But George wanted to win. Woody Johnson wants to win. My thing with Woody Johnson is let your football people make football decisions. You're not Jerry Jones. You're not Tom Kraft. You're Woody Johnson. Hire the right people, and I think you have the right person in Joe Douglas. Hire, good support. Hire the people that can support you. Hire a coaching staff, and I'm not sure about Rob Saleh. I like it, but hire a coaching staff and take it from there. Okay, that is my one gripe with Woody Johnson. He wants to win. Okay, they make fun of Woody Johnson because he'll put on Twitter, these are the uniforms we're wearing. Listen, he's just trying to be part of the fan base. He's just trying to be part of coming down out of his luxury suite and talking to the fans. I mean, I can remember when Woody Johnson was over in London. I think he was in London as the ambassador for the United States there. Sitting in a car with me, my father, my buddy George, and Christopher Johnson walked by. We called him over. He said hi and he spoke to us for about 10, 15, 5-10 minutes, not 10, 15 minutes. And he walked through and he shook hands or whatever. Woody Johnson did that also years ago. It's a lot different now, but you can't think for 1 minute that Woody Johnson is just content with losing and collecting his receipts. Because the more he wins, the more receipts he can collect. All right, he's not just content with this. So that's my rant on Woody Johnson. Like I said, it's not going to be him that gets Aaron Rodgers here. Will they maybe think about, hey, is that organization a good organization to play for? Maybe people say, hey, that Woody Johnson he signs those checks, he's good. Or maybe, it's um, a little bit, not kosher, and you don't want to be there. That may be what's known around the league, but you know, not for 1 second do I believe Woody Johnson is happy with just having a football team. So the Jets, as fans, we sit and wait now. I don't think we have a quarterback for at least 2 weeks. I think the Jets feel out what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, so we're waiting on him. Also, they do their due diligence. They call Derek Carr's representation. They call Baker Mayfield's representation. Um, if they do draft a quarterback this year, and I do not think they are, he does not start this year. And I think the GM, I think Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh know that. Robert Saleh came in with a rookie quarterback with Zach, and he still basically is a rookie quarterback that he's trying to develop. Um, so you can't go into your third season on the hot seat with another quarterback you just drafted. That's reminiscent of Rex, where Rex and Mark Sanchez came in and they had very good early success, both first and second year in the league AFC Championship games, and both games that they could have won. And then 2 or 3 seasons later, you drafted Geno Smith, and now Rex has a disgruntled Mark Sanchez that they just gave a lot of money to, and Tim Tebow and Geno Smith, and it's just not right for the team. So anyway, Super Bowl is over. No more football games for about 6 months, but the combine is in a couple of weeks. I think it's in 2 weeks. NFL free agency starts in about a month, and before you know it, 75 days, it's draft time. I hope everybody enjoyed my videos. I'm going to probably do weekly videos going forward and not bi-weekly, so I'm not previewing and reviewing games. But anything big that happens, I will tweet out, and I will then do a video on. I will cover it. Um, you know, Please follow our videos. Please subscribe. I'd like to get a lot of subscriptions, only because I just enjoy doing this. Um, you see it, I'll come out here and bitch and complain. You see it, I'll come out here and just praise the team. I try to speak how I feel. So you can reach us on Twitter at the Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. You can reach us by email, thejetstakeoff@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page, The Takeoff, and we are on YouTube. The YouTube account name is The Takeoff. The channel for the account is at the Jets Takeoff. You can Google those two names. You can Google Alex Parziali. Check us out. Subscribe, retweet. Give us your comments. Give us your take. Give us, how many years you've been a fan. Give us what you do on game day. Like I said, I'm going to show you off-season stories. I'm going to share with you stories about going to the games. I'm going to share with you stories about my experiences. Times with my father, times with my girls, times when I was dating my wife and we would go to the games. The players I've met, the stories and the teams that I've seen come in, the shocking losses, the upset games, the 1-15 season, the playoff games, all that. We're going to cover that in the off season, but we want you to be part of it. So please check us out, like this video, subscribe. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great off season. But like I said, we will talk every week, at least once a week. And be safe, be healthy. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day. And I'll talk to you soon. And hopefully next time I talk to you, we are one step closer or at the point where we have a quarterback. Take care.